The stars shone like scattered jewels across the black canvas of space. Humanity's home planet, Earth, spun quietly in the sunlight, unaware of the storm approaching from distant systems. Decades of observing the galaxy had taught humans one lesson. Survival depended on patience and vigilance. Humanity had survived threats far beyond its size, relying on intellect, adaptability, and an unyielding will. Far beyond the solar system, the Varelian Empire expanded with a hunger that could not be sated. Their ships, vast and terrifying, moved with precision and power. Entire colonies vanished under their conquest, leaving nothing behind but silent orbits and drifting debris. The galaxy trembled at their approach, yet Earth remained calm. Humans did not panic. Humans watched. The first report arrived quietly, as if whispering through the void. A Varelian fleet had entered the Sol sector. Sensors detected nothing immediately threatening. No weapons fired, no warships in orbit. Yet every officer aboard Earth's deep space observation stations understood the danger. These were not explorers or traders. These were conquerors. In a secure command room orbiting Earth, Commander Arik Voss studied the incoming data. His brow furrowed as he examined holographic projections of the fleet. The Varelian ships were massive, bristling with weapons. Their movement was calculated, deliberate, and unnervingly confident. "They're scouting," Arik said quietly to Lieutenant Mara Chen, who stood beside him. "They want to know what they're up against." Mara glanced at the screens, her expression tense but composed. "Do they know about us?" she asked. Arik shook his head. "Not yet. And that is exactly what will make them underestimate humanity. Unseen by the Varelians, humanity carried a debt from centuries ago, a debt no one had forgotten. Long ago, a peaceful alien race known as the Lyrans had faced annihilation at the hands of the Varelians. Stranded on a dying world, the Lyrans had received aid from humans. Humans had given them technology, resources, and safe passage to hidden colonies. Humanity had never sought reward or recognition. They acted because it was right. The Lyrans had vanished years later, leaving behind only ruins and whispers of gratitude. Yet their records were precise. Every act of kindness, every detail, every promise had been stored in hidden archives across the galaxy. The Lyrans' last message was clear. If humans ever needed help, the debt would be repaid in a way that could change the course of the universe. Now, as the Varelian fleet approached, that moment had arrived. Humanity had watched for decades, preparing quietly, building knowledge, and waiting for the right time to act. Arik tapped a series of commands on his console. Maps of the approaching fleet expanded in 3 dimensions, showing every vessel's size, movement, and probable firepower. The numbers were intimidating, even to him. Hundreds of capital ships, thousands of smaller fighters. The Varelians were not an enemy to be taken lightly. Yet Arik did not feel fear. Humans had a reputation across nearby systems as adaptable and cunning. When survival was at stake, humanity could take impossible odds and turn them into victories. And now the galaxy would witness that truth once more. A soft chime echoed through the command room. The signal came from deep space beyond the outermost sensors. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but unmistakably intelligent. "Commander," Mara said, pointing at the display, "there's something coming through the void. It's strange. It doesn't match any Varelian signature we've seen." Arik leaned closer. The signal pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat across the stars. Its structure was complex, almost musical, yet the patterns were deliberate. "This is Lyran technology," he said, awe creeping into his voice. "It's them. After all these years. They left something for us." Mara's eyes widened. "A weapon?" Arik shook his head slowly. "Not a weapon exactly, a tool. Something to level the playing field. The Lyrans wouldn't create a weapon for destruction. They created a gift that only a civilization of intelligence and courage could use. We're about to find out if humanity is worthy." The preparations began immediately. Teams were assembled to investigate the Lyran signal, traveling to a distant star system where the ruins of a Lyran colony had been hidden for centuries. The journey would take months, even at near light speed. But the human crew worked tirelessly, calculating routes, mapping hazards, and preparing for the unknown. Meanwhile, the Varelian fleet moved steadily toward the Sol sector. They expected nothing but complacency from humans. In their eyes, Earth was a small, insignificant world. A primitive planet with no fleet worth mentioning, no technology advanced enough to challenge the mighty Varelian Empire. They were confident, and confidence was always a dangerous enemy. On Earth, citizens went about their daily lives unaware of the looming shadow. Cities sparkled beneath the atmosphere, lights reflecting from skyscrapers like stars on a miniature scale. Humanity had grown used to surviving threats, but this was different. This was an empire that had crushed worlds with ease, and now it aimed its attention at humanity. Yet Arik and his team felt no panic. There was a quiet confidence among the humans involved in the mission. They had prepared for this moment for generations in ways the Varelians could never anticipate. The Lyran gift was more than technology. It was a test, and humans had a history of passing tests when everything seemed impossible. The first phase of the mission involved analyzing the Lyran signal. It contained coordinates, star maps, and cryptic instructions. Humans had to decode alien symbols, align patterns across light years, and navigate dangerous asteroid fields. Each step tested not only their intelligence but their creativity, patience, and teamwork. Every puzzle the Lyrans left is a lesson, Arik said, studying a holographic interface. They want to see how we think, how we adapt, how we survive, Mara smirked. So it's like a game? Arik allowed a small smile. A very serious game. But if we succeed, it's a game that could save billions and change the fate of the galaxy. As days turned into weeks, the human crew faced numerous challenges. Automated defenses left by the Lyrans tested their patience and ingenuity. Energy barriers, magnetic traps, and data encryption systems required every ounce of skill and ingenuity. The crew grew closer, each member learning to trust and rely on one another in ways they never had before. Far beyond their star charts, the Varelian fleet remained unaware of the unfolding human preparations. Their scouts reported nothing alarming. Primitive humans, their commander said. They cannot hope to resist the might of the Varelian Empire, and yet the humans were ready. Not just ready to defend their planet, but ready to repay a long-forgotten debt with precision and intelligence that would surprise every empire in the galaxy. As the crew of the human exploration ship approached the coordinates, a vast ruined city appeared on the surface of a barren planet. Towers that once reached the sky lay broken and crumbled, but hidden among the ruins were the remnants of Lyran technology. Energy grids humming faintly, panels etched with instructions, devices that waited patiently for those capable of unlocking their secrets. Arik stared at the ruins in awe. "This is it," he said. "Every decision we've made, every preparation has led us here. The Lyrans trusted us with their legacy. Now it's up to us to honor that trust." Mara adjusted her helmet, checking her instruments. "And if we fail?" Arik shook his head firmly. "We won't fail. Humanity never forgets a debt, and the Lyrans' debt to us is about to be repaid. But not just to us, it will be repaid to the entire galaxy. And the Varelians? They will learn a lesson they never expected." The human team set foot on the planet, beginning the work of decoding and activating the Lyran technology. Every step forward was a triumph of ingenuity and determination. It was more than exploration. It was the beginning of a payback that could shake empires to their core. As the stars twinkled above the barren surface, the first light of human ingenuity ignited. The galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen, a species that remembered kindness, that valued honor, and that would repay debts in ways that even the mightiest powers could not imagine. In the command room orbiting Earth, Arik transmitted a message to all human sectors. "Prepare. Humanity has a debt to collect, and the galaxy will remember our name." And with that, the stage was set. The quiet patience of humans was about to turn into a force unlike anything the universe had ever seen. A force that combined intelligence, courage, and the legacy of a long-lost alien race. Humanity was ready, and the Varelians were about to discover that no debt goes unpaid. The barren planet stretched endlessly under the pale light of a distant sun. Its surface was rough, jagged, and silent, yet hidden among the rocky plains and collapsed towers lay secrets left by the Lyrans. The human team, led by Commander Arik Voss, moved cautiously, scanning every structure, every shadow for clues. "This place is incredible," said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her eyes sweeping over the ruins. "The Lyrans left so much technology, yet so much mystery." Arik nodded, his gaze fixed on the strange energy patterns shimmering faintly across the ground. "They wanted us to earn this. Every device, every puzzle, every barrier, they're testing us." The first challenge appeared almost immediately. A massive gate etched with glowing Lyran symbols blocked their path. No handles, no panels, only intricate patterns that pulsed like a heartbeat. The team gathered, examining the symbols, trying to decipher their meaning. "They're instructions," said Dr. Elias Thorne, the mission's lead scientist. "But in a language that isn't just letters or words. It's logic, patterns, and timing. Whoever created this expected more than simple observation. Hours turned into days as the humans worked to solve the puzzle. They traced energy flows, aligned symbols, and coordinated their movements to activate hidden sequences. Frustration threatened to break their focus, but Arik reminded them of the stakes. "We're not just exploring," he said firmly. "We're proving humanity's worth. The Lyrans trusted us with this gift. We cannot fail." Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the gate shimmered and dissolved into nothingness. Beyond it lay a vast chamber humming with energy. In the center, suspended above a platform, floated a device of breathtaking complexity. Its surface was smooth, almost liquid, yet lines of light ran through it, forming patterns that seemed to shift as if alive. Dr. Thorne stepped forward, awe in his eyes. This is beyond anything humanity has ever seen. The Lyrans must have predicted we'd need this against a force like the Varelians." Arik studied the device carefully. "It's a weapon, but not in the way the Varelians think. It's designed to disable, to neutralize without unnecessary destruction. That's why the Lyrans left it for us. They knew we would use it wisely." Mara tilted her head, examining the floating technology. "How do we even begin to understand it?" "By thinking like them," Arik said. "By proving that humans are capable of more than brute force. They didn't leave this for anyone. They left it for those who are clever, careful, and compassionate." The team spent weeks studying the device, learning its mechanisms, and testing its controls in simulated environments. Every function required teamwork, intelligence, and patience. A single mistake could render the gift useless. But humans thrived under challenge. As they worked, Arik considered the Varelians' arrogance. They assumed humans were weak, disorganized, and unworthy of serious attention. The humans' preparation, careful and meticulous, would prove the Varelians wrong. In secret, communications between the ruins and Earth's orbit were established. Arik sent detailed updates to command, ensuring that Earth could coordinate a response when the moment arrived. Meanwhile, the device itself seemed to respond to human intuition. Patterns of light shifted as the team approached solutions, almost as if the Lyran technology recognized their worth. "It's learning from us," Dr. Thorne whispered one evening. "The Lyrans designed this to bond with its user. If we fail, it remains dormant. But if we succeed, it becomes a force beyond imagination." Mara shook her head in disbelief. "And the Varelians think we're weak?" Arik allowed himself a small smile. "That's exactly what makes this perfect. They will never see it coming." Outside, the planet remained still, a quiet witness to human determination. The Varelian fleet continued its slow approach toward the Sol sector, unaware that humans were not idle. Every day, humans gained knowledge, control, and understanding of the Lyran gift. At last, the device's final test appeared. The chamber shifted, walls moving to create a complex maze of energy barriers and magnetic fields. The team had to navigate the labyrinth without touching the wrong surfaces or disrupting the energy flow. Failure meant starting over. Arik took a deep breath, turning to his crew. "This is it. Every skill we have learned, every lesson humanity has mastered is needed now. Remember, no matter what happens, we are doing this together." The team moved as one, each member coordinating carefully. Mara led the way through the shifting walls while Dr. Thorne monitored energy patterns, and Arik made rapid calculations to predict the chamber's movements. Slowly they progressed, step by step, never faltering. Finally, they reached the heart of the labyrinth. The device pulsed, brighter than before, as if acknowledging their achievement. Slowly, it descended from its suspension, resting in a protective cradle that conformed to human hands. "It's ours," Mara said softly, almost in disbelief. Arik nodded. "Not just ours, Mara. Humanity's. We've proven that we are capable of wielding the Lyran gift responsibly. Now it's time to use it wisely." Back on Earth, intelligence analysts watched the Varelian fleet with growing concern. Despite their massive numbers, the humans had been preparing quietly for months. Every strategic move, every calculation, every test had a purpose. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long. The next phase involved understanding how the Lyran device could be deployed. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. It could disable enemy ships, shut down shields, and disrupt communications across vast distances. Entire fleets could be rendered powerless without a single life being lost. "This changes everything," Dr. Thorne said during a briefing. "The Varelians will be surprised, but more than that, they will realize humans are not to be underestimated." Arik leaned forward, his eyes intense. "It's not just about fighting them. It's about showing the galaxy that humans honor debts, that we act with intelligence, and that we will never forget a kindness." Mara smirked. "And that means the Varelians will pay for every act of aggression they've committed." Arik didn't respond, but the gleam in his eyes told the team everything they needed to know. Humanity was ready to repay the Lyran's gift, and the Varelians would learn the consequences of underestimating a species that never forgets. Weeks passed as the team tested the device in simulated attacks, learning every nuance and control. Every member of the crew became proficient, understanding not only how to operate the technology, but also how to strategize, anticipate, and adapt. The Lyran gift was more than a tool. It was a lesson in creativity, responsibility, and foresight. Finally, the team prepared to leave the ruins. The device was ready, humanity was prepared, and the Varelians were approaching the Sol sector, oblivious to the danger they were about to face. As the exploration ship lifted from the barren planet, Arik looked back at the ruins one last time. "The Lyrans trusted us," he said softly. "Now it's our turn to honor that trust. Not just for us, but for every world they could not save. And one day for every world the Varelians thought they controlled." Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "The galaxy won't know what hit them." Arik smiled faintly. "No, but that is exactly the point. The galaxy will remember us, not just for power, but for honor, ingenuity, and the ability to repay debts that others thought were forgotten." With the Lyran gift secured, the human team set a course back to Earth. The countdown to confrontation had begun. The Varelians believed in their supremacy, but humanity had prepared for this moment for generations. Now armed with alien wisdom, human ingenuity, and a steadfast sense of justice, they were ready to change the course of the galaxy. And somewhere in the void, the legacy of the Lyrans watched silently. Their gift, entrusted to humans, would finally fulfill its purpose, to remind the galaxy that acts of kindness are never forgotten, and that the species who once offered them help could now wield that legacy in a way no empire could withstand. The stars stretched endlessly before them, but this time, humans were not merely observers. They were participants, ready to repay a debt with intelligence, courage, and precision. Humanity's return gift was ready, and the universe would soon feel its impact. The human fleet moved silently through the void, each ship a symbol of careful preparation and unyielding resolve. The Lyran device, now fully integrated into Earth's strategy, glimmered faintly aboard the lead vessel, its energy flowing like a heartbeat in sync with the crew's anticipation. Commander Arik Voss stood on the bridge, his eyes scanning the holographic displays. The Varelian fleet loomed ahead, massive and confident, a moving mountain of metal and firepower. "They still think we are weak," Arik muttered, almost to himself. His voice carried a quiet confidence, the calm before the storm. "They underestimate humanity, and that will be their mistake." Lieutenant Mara Chen adjusted her controls, aligning the fleet into precise formations. "Our sensors show no awareness from them yet. They are as arrogant as predicted." Arik nodded. "Good. Then they will not see the first strike coming." For decades, humans had observed the Varelians. Every maneuver, every strategy, every pattern of behavior had been catalogued. The arrogance of the Varelians was legendary. They believed their sheer numbers and firepower were enough to crush any resistance. Yet humans thrived on challenges that others thought impossible. Patience, intelligence, and creativity were humanity's greatest weapons. The signal from the Lyran device pulsed steadily. Arik had spent weeks ensuring the weapon could function at maximum efficiency. It could disable entire fleets, shutting down engines, shields, and communications without destroying lives. Every strike would be precise, surgical, and irreversible in its effect. Dr. Elias Thorne, overseeing the operation from the command deck, spoke over the comms. "All systems are calibrated. The Lyran device is ready. Once activated, the effect will cascade across their fleet. No ship will be able to escape the field of disruption. Mara's fingers danced across the console. Their forward scouts are approaching. They'll see us soon. Aric's jaw tightened. Let them come. It's time humanity repays the debt owed to us, and to the galaxy. The first Varelian ships entered sensor range. Massive vessels, bristling with weapons and shields, moved with confidence, scanning for human positions. They were unaware that humans had prepared an ambush unlike any they had encountered. Targeting the lead cruiser, Mara said. It's in position. All units, hold pattern until we give the signal. Aric took a deep breath. Activate the Lyran device. A pulse of energy surged through the fleet. The Lyran weapon activated silently, invisible yet unmistakable in its effect. Engines across the Varelian armada flickered and stuttered. Shields fluctuated uncontrollably, and communications scrambled into unintelligible static. Within moments, the massive fleet that had inspired fear throughout the galaxy became disorganized chaos. Report, Aric demanded. All forward units disabled, Commander, Mara said. They're drifting. No propulsion. Their weapons are offline. They cannot coordinate. Aric allowed himself a small smile. Now we begin. Human ships moved with precision, each maneuver exploiting the disruption caused by the Lyran device. Fighters struck isolated ships, disabling them completely, while larger vessels secured strategic positions. Humans coordinated flawlessly, their training and ingenuity amplifying the effect of the alien technology. The Varelian commanders were stunned. What is happening? One bellowed over failing communications. Our fleets, our weapons, they are failing. Panic spread across the armada. Ships collided in the confusion, some drifting into each other, others trapped in orbit around debris fields. The Varelians had never faced an enemy that could strike with such precision without direct aggression. On the bridge of the human lead ship, Aric watched every movement with calm intensity. We're not here to destroy them, he reminded the crew. We are here to show that humanity cannot be underestimated. As fighters disabled more Varelian vessels, Mara noticed an opportunity. Commander, if we move to intercept their command ships, we can end this before it escalates further. Aric nodded. Do it, but proceed with caution. We want to force surrender, not unnecessary loss of life. The human fleet advanced, focusing on key Varelian command vessels. The Lyran device emitted pulses that disabled engines and shields instantly. Ships that had seemed invincible moments ago now floated helplessly. Varelian crews scrambled to repair damage, but every attempt failed. The humans had thought of everything, anticipating enemy tactics down to the smallest detail. Dr. Thorne monitored energy levels across the device. It's responding perfectly. The Varelians can't adapt quickly enough. Every ship we target is neutralized in seconds. Meanwhile, Mara coordinated human fighters, striking weak points in the Varelian fleet. Their small, agile ships darted between massive cruisers, exploiting openings created by the Lyran weapon. Humans moved as one, a single organism of strategy, coordination, and precision. One Varelian commander attempted to rally his forces. Focus fire! Target the humans directly, he roared. But his weapons were offline. The Lyran device had rendered their entire armada powerless, leaving them unable to act effectively. Aric's voice was calm over the comms. This is humanity speaking. Your fleet is disabled. You have a choice. Surrender peacefully or face further disruption. No lives need be lost. The choice is yours. Silence followed. The Varelian crews, used to unquestioned authority and dominance, struggled to comprehend the situation. Entire fleets at their command had been disabled without a single shot fired. Their pride and arrogance crumbled in the face of an enemy they had underestimated. Finally, a hesitant reply came from a Varelian ship. We surrender? Aric nodded, even though they could not see him. Yes. Surrender peacefully. Humanity does not seek unnecessary destruction. This is a warning and a lesson. Remember it well. The surrender broadcasted across the fleet. Ships began powering down, no longer resisting. Humans guided the Varelians, safely to designated zones, ensuring no lives were lost unnecessarily. Every move showcased human intelligence, planning, and discipline, traits the Varelians had never respected in the smaller species. As the last Varelian ship drifted under human control, Mara turned to Auric. They never saw it coming. Every one of them thought humans were weak. Auric's gaze was steady, filled with quiet satisfaction. They assumed, they underestimated. Humanity is not just strong. We are clever, adaptable, and capable of repaying debts with precision. The Lyrans trusted us. We honored that trust. And the galaxy has seen what happens when humans are underestimated. Dr. Thorne stepped forward. Commander, the Lyran device has exceeded expectations. It functioned flawlessly, disabling their fleet without destruction. They will remember this. Auric nodded. Yes. And not just them. The entire galaxy will. Humanity does not forget kindness, and humanity does not forgive unchecked aggression. We've proven both today. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly through communications and secure channels. Every human watched as the first strike unfolded and succeeded. The Varelians' arrogance had been shattered without a single planet harmed, without a single life lost unnecessarily. Humanity's reputation as clever, determined, and honorable grew instantly across the stars. In the aftermath, the human team assessed their success. The Varelians were incapacitated but alive. Systems were being restored under human supervision, and captured leaders were treated with respect, earning a grudging acknowledgement of humanity's capability and morality. Mara looked out at the stars, reflecting on the battle. We didn't just win, we proved something. Humanity isn't just strong. We are capable of thinking, planning, and acting with honor. We're different from what they expected. Auric smiled faintly. Exactly. We repaid the Lyran's gift, not with destruction, but with wisdom, strategy, and precision. And the message is clear. No debt is forgotten, and humanity's return gift can shatter empires without ever firing a destructive shot. As the fleet prepared to return to Earth, the Varelian leadership, humiliated and cautious, began reconsidering their expansionist plans. Humanity had demonstrated a power the galaxy had not anticipated, a combination of intellect, morality, and strategic brilliance. In the quiet of the command bridge, Auric reflected on what had happened. Humanity had not sought glory or revenge. They had acted because it was the right thing to do. The Lyran gift had been a test, and humanity had passed, proving that cleverness, courage, and honor could achieve what raw power never could. Prepare for debriefing, Auric said to his crew. We've sent a message the galaxy will never forget, but this is only the beginning. The Varelians will adapt, and we must be ready for whatever comes next. Mara nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. Then we'll be ready, Commander. Humanity has only begun to show its true strength. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, the humans returned home. They had struck the first blow, not with fire or destruction, but with intelligence and honor. The galaxy would remember this day, the day humanity repaid a debt and reshaped the balance of power. And somewhere far beyond the known worlds, the legacy of the Lyrans pulsed quietly, their gift fulfilled. Humanity had proven its worth. Humanity had proven its honor, and the universe had begun to understand that no species should ever underestimate the debt-keeping, ingenuity-driven, unstoppable force that was mankind. The calm after the first strike was deceptive. Humanity had proven its strength and intelligence, but the Varelians were not a species to accept defeat easily. Their pride, wounded and humiliated, pushed them to regroup quickly. Entire fleets that had drifted powerless now slowly came back online under human supervision, while hidden command nodes remained active, plotting countermeasures. Commander Auric Voss watched the stars from the bridge of the human flagship. The Lyran device, still humming quietly, had given humanity a decisive edge, but Auric knew the war was far from over. The Varelians would adapt. They would learn, and humanity would need to outthink them at every turn. They are mobilizing again, reported Lieutenant Mara Chen, her eyes scanning the sensor displays. Their command ships are re-establishing communications. They're sending signals to outer fleets we haven't engaged yet. Arik nodded. Then we need a strategy that hits them where it hurts most. Not just their ships, but their plans, their supply lines, their confidence. Humanity doesn't just fight battles. We outsmart our enemies. Dr. Elias Thorne, the mission's lead scientist, adjusted his console. I've been analyzing the Lyran device further. It's more than a fleet disruptor. It has smaller modules that can be deployed remotely. They can influence planetary systems, block warp gates, and even interfere with energy distribution on enemy worlds. Mara's eyes widened. So we can protect entire systems and cut off their reinforcements before they even reach us? Exactly, Dr. Thorne confirmed. But it requires precise coordination and perfect timing. One mistake and the modules could become ineffective. Arik's mind worked rapidly, considering every possibility. We'll split our forces. Half will engage their main fleets using the primary device. The other half will deploy the smaller modules near strategic locations, their supply hubs, key planets, and warp lanes. We need to cripple them before they can mount a coordinated attack. The humans moved swiftly. Fleets divided and dispatched smaller squads, each carrying a Lyran module designed for strategic disruption. Ships traveled to distant star systems, weaving through asteroid fields and debris, avoiding detection. Each module was carefully activated, its energy pulses shutting down Varelian infrastructure silently but effectively. Meanwhile, the primary human fleet engaged the Varelian armada near the border of human-controlled space. The enemy, larger and more numerous than before, had learned from their initial failure. They approached cautiously, their formation tight, their sensors on high alert. They've adapted, Mara observed. Their ships aren't as vulnerable as before. They expect some kind of attack. Arik's eyes narrowed. Then we changed the rules again. Humanity doesn't fight predictable battles. They will see a pattern and we will break it. The human fleet executed a series of feints, drawing Varelian ships into traps without firing a single shot initially. They simulated retreats, leaving openings that seemed like weaknesses, only to guide the enemy into areas where the Lyran device could strike with maximum effect. Dr. Thorne monitored energy flows. The device is synchronized with the modules in the outer systems. Once we trigger the sequence, their supply lines and reinforcements will be disabled simultaneously. The chaos will be complete. Mara's hands moved deftly across the controls. They're moving into the trap, Commander. All units in position. Arik took a deep breath. Activate the device. A wave of energy rippled through space. Engines faltered, weapons went offline, and communications jammed across multiple Varelian fleets. Chaos erupted once again, but this time it was not limited to a single armada. Systems across distant star clusters failed simultaneously, cutting off reinforcements and isolating Varelian units. Report, Arik demanded. All targeted fleets are disabled, Commander, Mara replied. Their reinforcements cannot reach the main battle. Their supply chains are disrupted. They're trapped. The Varelian command, now panicked and disorganized, attempted to regroup. We must focus fire on the humans directly, one leader shouted. But their weapon systems remained offline, and even the most experienced commanders could not re-establish control in time. Arik gave the order. Engage carefully. Disable without destruction. Show them humanity's precision. Human fighters moved like a single organism, striking disabled ships and guiding them into safe zones. Every action was calculated to neutralize the enemy while minimizing casualties. Humans demonstrated the difference between raw aggression and strategic intelligence. One Varelian cruiser, larger than any human ship, attempted to flee the battle. Mara's squad intercepted it, activating a Lyran module that immobilized its engines instantly. The massive vessel drifted, helpless, as human pilots surrounded it, preventing escape without firing a single destructive shot. Dr. Thorne observed from the command deck. Every module is functioning perfectly. They can't escape or regroup. The Varelians underestimated human ingenuity again. Arik nodded, his mind focused on the next phase. We've trapped them, but we're not finished. We need to strike their command centers directly. Their leaders must understand that humanity is not just capable of defense. We can take control of the battlefield intelligently. The fleet moved with flawless coordination, a combination of careful planning, real-time calculation, and intuitive decision-making. Every ship knew its role, every pilot its path. The humans were not only executing a battle plan, they were rewriting the rules of engagement. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, liberated planets watched in awe as Varelian ships were neutralized without unnecessary destruction. Humans had demonstrated not only strength but morality. Every action sent a clear message. Humanity would repay debts, defend allies, and protect the innocent, but it did not seek needless bloodshed. Auric communicated directly with the remaining Varelian commanders. This is humanity. Your fleets are disabled. Your systems are disrupted. You have a choice. Surrender and preserve your people or continue futile resistance. We do not seek to destroy but to teach a lesson in strategy and respect. For the first time, the Varelian leaders hesitated. Their arrogance, built over centuries of conquest, faltered under the weight of human ingenuity. Entire fleets had been neutralized without destruction. Planets had been secured. Supply lines severed. The humans had outsmarted them at every turn. Finally, a message came from a senior Varelian commander. We must submit. We recognize human intelligence and strength. We surrender under your terms. The human fleet allowed the surrender, guiding disabled ships into secure zones. The Varelians were alive but humbled. The lesson had been learned. Underestimating humanity was a grave mistake. Mara turned to Auric, her eyes reflecting relief and pride. They finally see it. We're not just survivors, we're something else entirely. Auric's gaze remained fixed on the holographic displays. Yes, humanity has proven it can act with intelligence, strategy, and honor. We've repaid the Lyran's gift. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember today, and empires will think twice before challenging humans again. Dr. Thorne added, the Lyran modules worked perfectly. Their systems are still recovering, and their command infrastructure is compromised. We have a rare chance to negotiate lasting peace and influence the balance of power. Auric nodded. We will show the galaxy that humanity does not forget kindness, and humanity does not forgive unchecked aggression. The Varelians will spread the story of today, and that story will redefine how every species views us. As the human fleet regrouped, Earth prepared for the aftermath. Planets liberated by human strategy celebrated quietly, grateful for protection without destruction. Humans had not sought glory. They had acted with honor and intelligence, proving that even against overwhelming odds they could prevail. Auric reflected on the campaign so far. The Lyran gift had been more than a weapon. It was a testament to what humanity could achieve when combined with wisdom, courage, and strategic thinking. The galaxy had seen the power of preparation, collaboration, and intelligence. We've struck the first blow, he said quietly. But the galaxy is vast and challenges remain. We must remain vigilant, ready to act with precision and honor. Humanity is no longer just a survivor. We are a force to be respected, a species that repays debts, and a civilization capable of shaping the course of history. Mara smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. Then let's make sure the Varelians and every other empire never forget it. As the stars stretched endlessly before them, the humans prepared for the next phase. They had neutralized a major threat, liberated planets, and demonstrated intelligence beyond expectation. The turning point had been reached, and humanity stood ready to shape the galaxy with strategy, honor, and the legacy of the Lyrans guiding every step. The universe had witnessed the arrival of a species that remembered kindness, valued intelligence, and wielded power responsibly. And as the Varelians struggled to comprehend the defeat, humans looked to the stars with quiet confidence, knowing that the galaxy would never underestimate them again. The human fleet moved through the galaxy with confidence, the Lyran gift humming quietly aboard the lead ship. Commanders, pilots, and scientists alike had seen the power of intelligence, patience, and precision. Humanity had proven itself, but the mission was not yet complete. Every liberated system, every neutralized fleet, and every disabled command hub reminded the galaxy that humans remembered debts, and that their return gift was far more than mere retaliation. Commander Auric Voss stood on the bridge, surveying the stars. Each point of light represented worlds once threatened by the Varelians, now safe because of humanity's ingenuity and determination. We've shown strength, he said quietly, but we've also shown honor. That combination will be remembered. Lieutenant Mara Chen adjusted the sensors, tracking the remaining Varelian forces scattered across the galaxy. Their fleets are fragmented, Commander. Many have surrendered, and others are attempting to flee to safe systems. They've learned their arrogance was misplaced, Arik nodded. Let them flee. Our goal is not to destroy. It's to show that every action has a consequence and every debt is remembered. We act with intelligence and precision, not wanton destruction. Dr. Elias Thorne monitored the Lyran modules remotely. Every system we've targeted is stabilized. Supply lines, warp gates, communication hubs, they're all under controlled oversight. Even if the Varelians attempt to regroup, they cannot escape our influence quickly. The human fleet split into smaller squads, moving with synchronized precision. Some ships deployed Lyran modules to secure strategic points on neutral or liberated planets, while others continued to monitor and guide the surrendered Varelian fleets. Each movement was coordinated, demonstrating to the galaxy that humans could wield power responsibly. A communication alert flashed across the main console. A Varelian leader requested a direct meeting with Arik. They want to negotiate, Mara noted, her eyes narrowing. After everything, they finally realized they underestimated us. Arik activated the secure channel. You are correct. You underestimated humanity, but your surrender and cooperation now ensure the survival of your people. Speak. The Varelian leader's hologram flickered into view. His posture was rigid, a mixture of pride and reluctant respect. Commander Voss, we recognize that your species is not only capable of great strength, but of intelligence and honor. Your fleet disabled ours without unnecessary loss of life. Your actions have taught us a lesson we will not forget. Arik's expression remained calm. It is not just a lesson for you. It is a message to the galaxy. Humanity remembers kindness and humanity repays debts. The Lyrans entrusted their gift to us because they knew we would act wisely. That trust has now been fulfilled. The Varelian leader paused. And your return gift? It is more than we imagined. Entire fleets incapacitated without destruction. Entire supply lines disabled. You have shown power and restraint simultaneously. How is this possible? Arik's eyes glimmered with quiet determination. Because humanity is not merely strong. We think, we plan, and we act with precision. The galaxy will learn that underestimating humans is a grave mistake. The Lyran's gift was a test and we passed, but our true strength lies in our ability to combine intelligence, courage, and honor in every action. As the discussion concluded, human fleets continued to secure the remaining Varelian forces. Each ship surrendered peacefully, guided to safe zones under strict human supervision. The Varelians had learned that humanity did not seek needless destruction, but they would pay the price for arrogance, for underestimating a species that never forgets. Across liberated systems, planets celebrated quietly, relieved that the human fleet had arrived in time. Human pilots coordinated repairs, stabilized energy grids, and ensured that civilians were safe. Humanity's return gift was not only for themselves, it was for the entire galaxy, demonstrating that compassion and intelligence could prevail even in war. Mara turned to Arik, observing the activity through the bridge's wide windows. We didn't just win battles, she said softly. We've changed the way the galaxy will view us forever. The Varelians and others will think twice before challenging humans again. Arik's gaze remained on the stars, thoughtful but resolute. Yes, humanity's strength lies not only in power but in the ability to repay debts with intelligence and honor. That is the message the galaxy must carry forward. Dr. Thorne spoke over the comms, excitement in his voice. Commander, we've finished activating the last of the remote modules. Every major Varelian system is now under controlled oversight. Even if they attempt further aggression, they cannot operate without our awareness. Arik nodded. Excellent. Humanity has fulfilled its duty, but we must remain vigilant. Other threats may arise, and the galaxy will remember today as the moment humans proved they are capable of defending themselves, and others, wisely. The fleet moved in formation, guiding the surrendered Varelian ships toward neutral zones where they could be monitored safely. Communication lines were restored, and the Varelians, humbled but alive, began to reassess their strategies. They had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would not be repeated. Mara smiled, watching the coordinated movement of fleets across the holographic map. It's remarkable. We've disabled their power, secured the galaxy, and preserved life. No one else could have done this. Arik's expression softened slightly. That is the point. Humanity's value is in thinking, planning, and acting with foresight. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to show that intelligence and morality are as powerful as any weapon. Meanwhile, across distant star systems, neutral species observed the humans' actions. Word spread quickly. Humans were not conquerors, not destroyers, but strategists and protectors. The legacy of the Lyran gift, now fully realized, elevated humanity's reputation across the galaxy. The Varelian fleets, now in controlled zones, were forced to acknowledge a truth they had ignored for centuries. Humans were not a species to be taken lightly. Every miscalculation, every arrogance had been met with precise and intelligent response. Humanity had repaid the Lyran's trust, and in doing so had reshaped galactic politics forever. Back on the flagship, Arik addressed his crew. We've shown the galaxy what it means to honor a gift. We've neutralized the Varelians without unnecessary destruction, liberated systems, and ensured peace where possible. Humanity has returned a debt thoughtfully, strategically, and honorably. That is the legacy we leave behind. Mara and Dr. Thorne stood beside him, sharing the satisfaction of a mission completed. Commander, the galaxy will never forget this, Mara said. Every species, every empire, every planet will remember that humans act with precision and honor. Arik's eyes reflected determination and pride. Yes, and they will remember that humanity repays debts. The Lyrans believed in us, and we have proven that their trust was not misplaced. But more importantly, we have shown that intelligence, courage, and honor can reshape the balance of power without unnecessary destruction. As the fleet charted a course back to Earth, news of the campaign spread. Reports detailed how humans had disabled massive fleets, secured liberated planets, and guided surrendered forces with intelligence and precision. Humanity's reputation soared across the galaxy, not through fear but through respect earned by cleverness, morality, and courage. The Varelians, humbled and cautious, began to restructure their approach to galactic affairs. They would remember the lesson. No debt is forgotten, and the return gift from humanity could shatter empires without ever firing a destructive shot. On the flagship, Arik gazed at the stars, reflecting on the journey. The galaxy has seen what we can do, but this is only the beginning. Humanity will continue to honor debts, protect the innocent, and act with intelligence and morality. That is the true gift we offer the universe. Mara leaned against the console, smiling. We've earned the trust of allies, the respect of enemies, and the admiration of those who witnessed our actions. Humanity is no longer underestimated, Arik nodded. And that is exactly how it should be. The Lyrans trusted us with a gift, and we returned it wisely. That is the essence of humanity. Never forgetting, always preparing, always acting with intelligence and honor. As the fleet approached Earth, the crew prepared for debriefings, celebrations, and reflection. Humanity had not only survived the test, it had reshaped the galaxy's understanding of its strength. The Lyran gift had been more than technology. It had been a test of character, strategy, and intelligence. Humanity had passed with distinction. And somewhere in the quiet expanse of space, the legacy of the Lyrans pulsed silently. Their trust had been honored, their gift realized, and the universe had learned a truth that could never be forgotten. Humanity remembers, humanity repays, and humanity's return gift can change the fate of empires. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, but this time, humans moved not as mere travelers, but as architects of destiny. They had repaid a debt, saved countless lives, and reshaped the balance of power. The galaxy would never forget the day humans returned the gift entrusted to them, and no empire would underestimate them again. The Lyrans had left a gift, but humanity had transformed it into a legacy. And that legacy, crafted through intelligence, honor, and courage, would echo across the stars for generations to come.